Hey everyone, this is a quick demo of the DNSReRoute service. So here's the home page at DNSReroute.xyz. It's got a little splash image at the top, a little explainer video, cheesy video to explain how the service actually works and why you might want to use it, and a quick breakdown of some of the features and pricing. So all of that homepage stuff aside, let's go ahead and just register a new account. So click sign in register, go to sign up. And then you can use social logins if you prefer. Otherwise, you can just use email address and password. So I'm going to use my personal domain, and I'll just create a little temporary weak password just to register. So once you register or sign in, you get sent to this dashboard screen, and you get a little pop-up message thanking you for signing up. And you'll see this pop-up style throughout this demo. This is the sort of generic pop-up message notification area for any action you might take. So you can just wait for these to time out after a few seconds. Otherwise, you can explicitly close them by clicking on this X. So right off the bat, you can see a couple things. Because this is a free service, there is no organization set up. So to use that, if you wanted to manage multiple user accounts that all tied into one organization for managing a set of routes, you'd have to upgrade to developer or enterprise tier. On that note, there's a billing section, so it tells you what your current plan includes on the bottom right. And then you also have an option to upgrade, which takes you to the subscription page where you can actually, through Stripe, you can execute a subscription setup to upgrade to that developer or enterprise tier. There's also an API playground, so this is a Swagger doc. You'll notice that your SAML bearer token has been set as the default API token. So if you want to explore the API, as a way to learn that API before you use it, all of these methods actually work. So Swagger doc is actually gonna make those API calls via JavaScript, passing that SAML bearer token, and then actually outputting the response data in this response body field. So again, this gives you an opportunity to play with and familiarize yourself with the API if you wanted to consume it. Back to the dashboard, you can see we don't have any routes yet. So let's go ahead and walk through creating a new DNS route, or a new redirect route rather. So I'm just going to redirect foo.alexdglover.com. And just to demonstrate, I'm going to redirect that to https://www.google.com. So I'll hit create on that route. You notice we get a little notification that that route was created successfully. And then here we can see in our routes field, this table got updated with that route we just created. You can also refresh this screen, this tab in particular, in case this isn't showing the most up-to-date information. So that's what this icon does. For organizations that have lots of DNS redirects, there's also a search feature. So this is all asynchronous. So as you type, it will bring up matching records. But obviously, if you type things that don't have a matching record, you get an empty table back. We can also delete this route very easily just by clicking that delete icon. And then it gets deleted and you get the same confirmation message, and then this table updates itself. So I'm going to recreate that one again. And now this time I'm actually going to go through and finish the setup of this redirect. So I've created the redirect within DNSReRoute. The last part that a customer or a user would need to do is actually set up the CNAME record. So the redirecting portion of this DNSReRoute service is behind service.dnsreroute.xyz. So I just need to create a CNAME from foo.alexdglover.com to that service.dnsreroute.xyz domain. So in my case, I'm using Namecheap for my personal domain. So I'll just add a new record and create a CNAME record. I'm just going to put in foo for foo.alexdglover.com. And then the target is service.dnsreroute.xyz. That's all we need to do. We don't need to configure any TTL or anything. So now we have this DNS record set up. So in theory, if we go to foo.alexdglover.com, we'll get redirected to Google in a very snappy, low latency redirect. All right, excellent. So now we've shown sort of the generic, the baseline usage of the app. A couple other things I want to point out is that these limits are enforced. So if I try to set up a second route while I'm still on the free tier, I'll actually get an error message saying that I've exceeded my quota. So I need to either upgrade or I need to delete an existing route before I can create new ones. In addition, there's also an account settings page. So by default, the display name for your user account is set to your email address, but you can set this to something else. This is just a nice sort of UI feature for the users. So you can see my display name has updated. So this way the user ID is still tied to that email address through Auth0, but the display name is totally arbitrary and up to the user. All right, finally, for the account settings page, you can also delete your entire account. So this is sort of the nuclear option. It's going to delete your user account, your org, your routes, and any other user accounts that are associated with that org ID. So this is sort of the easy way to handle account deletion. And so this is a total wipe across the board. Now to show you some of the more enterprise features that go beyond the free account, I'm actually going to sign out. And I'm going to log in just as my Gmail account. So I'll use my Google credentials. So here you can see we're an enterprise tier customer under this user account. So we have up to 100 redirects. We have some other features, including multi-user support. So you can see here I'm currently the only user in this organization, but I can add other people as well. So if I add, let's just say foo@alexdglover.com. And I'll use that same thing for their email address. I've now added that user to this organization. So you can see I've got one route here, smoke test 1. Organization name is Boss Dog Enterprises as a joke. So actually I'll log out and log in as this new user I created, and it should take us to the same organization. All right, perfect. So that user account didn't exist until I just completed that registration, but because someone had already added this email as a user of this organization, they're automatically associated with that organization when they log in. Now, I am enforcing a lot of permissions when it comes to, one organization can't delete users or routes from other organizations, but there's no ACLs in place as far as limiting what an individual user is. So even though, my user account was created first and I added this foo user has total access and can delete anything. So there's no concept of like administrator versus read-only users or anything like that. Any user can do anything, including terminating the entire account. That's basically it. So that's the breakdown between both the free tier and the paid tier accounts. And that's DNSReRoute in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.